Okay, good afternoon again. Welcome to the Board of County Commissioners work session for Wednesday, January 10th, 2024. It's 2:11 p.m. My name is Ty Menser, Chair of the Board. Vice Chair Commissioner Wayne Fournier to my left. Commissioner Carolina Mejia is present on our Zoom platform, and Commissioners Klaus and Edwards are excused for this session. We also have our interim county manager, Robin Campbell, and assistant county manager, Rob Gelder. This will be posted at a later point on the county's YouTube channel. Topic for the work session is North Thurston Public Schools update, an informational session that runs till 3 p.m. We have Superintendent of North Thurston Public Schools, Deborah Clemens, and I'm going to go directly to her for her presentation. Welcome.
All right, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to come. All of the superintendents, I know North Thurston comes every year to provide an update to the county commissioners. I know that all of the Thurston County superintendents are scheduled, I think, for a meeting in April of this year. But we requested this time to share information about the ballot measures that our school district is running. And I can share generally information about the other school districts because you may receive questions regarding those ballot measures. So prior to jumping into the details around the levy, I just want to remind you a little bit about our school district, just generally. I know we have new county commissioners. I have provided a fact sheet about the levies, a copy of our district's kind of community strategic plan, which is just our four-page plan. We do update this annually for our school district, and a little rat card that kind of just is quick facts about North Thurston Public Schools. I'll cover some of those in my presentation, but that's kind of a nice takeaway. So our mission is committed to excellence. Our goal is to prepare all students for their post-high school experience, whatever it is that they choose, whether they want to go into the military, go into the trades, go directly to work, go to a 2 or 4 year college. That is our goal. We have had the highest graduation rates in our history over the last 5 years, and we've maintained high graduation rates above the state average for the last 5 years. So we're very proud of the work that we have done in our district. We know that graduation is absolutely essential in today's society for a student to be a contributing member of society, whether they go into the military, post-secondary, or directly to the workforce. So just a little bit about our district. We do have over 14,000 students, 2,100 employees, 3 elementary schools, 4 middle schools, 3 comprehensive high schools, and 4 choice schools.
You said 3 elementary schools? Is it 3 or 13?
3 comprehensive high schools and 4 choice schools, 13 elementary schools. So I want to share a little bit about some of our choice schools because they are new to us. Ignite Family Academy opened actually coming out of the first year of the pandemic. Ignite Family Academy is a parent partnership program, and we partner with families who are choosing to homeschool their children. They do send their students to school 2 days a week, and a certified teacher works with the parent in preparing the resources and support for that home-based instruction. Our second choice school that we opened during the pandemic is Summit Virtual Academy. It is a K-12 school. It's entirely remote. The teachers are remote, the students are remote. One thing we learned when we had to shut down our schools is that for some families, their students excelled in a remote learning environment and they wanted to continue in that remote environment. And some of our staff really excelled. And so Summit Virtual Academy, as I mentioned, is a K-12 school. Last year, we had our second graduating class from Summit Virtual Academy. And then Envision Career Academy, we also opened in the last few years. It is an entirely project-based learning school that's based on career pathways that students choose. We, as a school district, just like the county, we value partnerships. We have, for a very long time, had our Partners in Education program, which is a business partner that partners with a school, also partners with the district. Twin Star is one of the district partners. We have Helping Hands, which is a partnership between a school and a nonprofit or faith-based organization. And then new to us the last couple of years is our Lunch Buddy program. We identify students who would who would benefit from having a mentor. And those individuals from our community go through training and they become a lunch buddy to a student. We have over 5,000 volunteers in our district, and last year, more than 30,000 hours of volunteerism was provided to students and the school district in general. And we annually, our board adopts a compassionate community project in partnership with the city of Lacey and the Lacey South Sound Chamber. This year's project is called Culture of Kindness, and our goal across our three organizations is to document 100,000 acts of kindness. And we're well on our way, and that is done on our website. Anyone can go on and document if you did volunteerism with All Kids Win and you helped prepare backpacks of food that were going to go to families. You could go onto the website and claim those acts of kindness. So for today's presentation, we want to focus a little bit about what the school district is asking voters to consider in February. And to start with, it's important to know how districts are funded. We receive 55% of our operating budget comes from the state. And you can see on this chart for North Thurston Public Schools, 17.35% of our operating budget is provided through the local levy. So all school districts in Thurston County are on a 4-year levy cycle. So all of the school districts, whether you're Rochester, Yelm, Tenino, Tumwater, Olympia, or North Thurston, we are all going back to voters to ask them to consider replacing a 4-year educational programs and operations levy. In addition, some school districts, like North Thurston, have a second ballot measure for voters to consider. Ours is a capital levy for safety, technology, and facility improvements. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, we call it the EP&O levy, the Educational Programs and Operations levy. And then when I'm done talking about that ballot measure, I'll talk about the capital levy. So this replacement levy funds really the shortfall between what the state provides us to provide services and what it actually costs us to deliver those services. And here are some major categories: mental health support, nutrition, special education, transportation, nursing, arts, and athletics. And it's important to point out the state does not provide any funding for co-curricular programs, arts, and athletics. That's all local levy funded. So if you were to take $1 of local levy that's provided to North Thurston, this graphic shows how that dollar supports those various programs. So 60 cents of every dollar goes for basic education enhancements. So that's the shortfall for instructional programs that the state does not fully fund. An example of that would be our highly capable program. We identify students from elementary through middle and high school who are receiving additional services or specialized services because they are identified as highly capable. And the shortfall between what the state provides, the local levy makes up that difference. That's just one example, and I'll give a few more examples here in a couple minutes. 20 cents of every dollar funds the cost of delivering special education services, 15 cents on facilities and operations. And as I mentioned, 5 cents on every dollar is solely funding athletics and activities. So a reminder, it is a replacement. It's not a new tax. It's important funding for the district to provide all of the opportunities for our students to be college and career ready. So in terms of mental health supports, and I'll get specific to North Thurston, we do provide support to students, but the students are first identified by their classroom teacher and counselor for these additional supports. So all students in our district receive a social emotional learning instruction in their classroom. Our teachers regularly assess all students, and the students who are identified with more acute needs are referred to the school counselor, and then the school counselor then refers students to a mental health specialist. So if you think about a triangle with a tiered approach, a very small percentage of students are accessing mental health counseling services at school. In our district, so we have 24 schools. In our district, we have 13 mental health specialists. So they're serving all of the students in our school district, but they're only serving a very small percentage of students. Nutritious meals. So as the cost of supplies goes up, and all of us have experienced that in our own personal lives, the local levy makes up the difference between the funding we receive from the state to provide the nutrition program and what it costs for us to provide it. In North Thurston Public Schools, we serve about 10,000 meals each day, 2,500 breakfasts and over 7,000 lunches, and that's K-12. So the levy helps us make sure that healthy meals are available to all our students. Transportation, again, the difference when fuel costs go up, the difference between what we receive from the state and what it costs us to run all of our buses and provide safe and efficient transportation is funded through the local levy. And that's to and from. We also have transportation or funding that provides for activities and athletics.
We're still talking about the EP&O levy.
This is all the EP&O levy.
And when, in transportation, I would imagine would be under facilities and ops, or like.
Yeah,
we're
so
breaking
that
it down.
15 cents on the dollar would fall under facilities and operations.
And like nutrition, where does that fall?
Facilities and operations. Yeah, basic education is really our educators, our staff, our paraeducators, our teachers, and other instructional staff. Yeah. So as I mentioned, the EP&O levy also funds all the activity and athletics programs and our arts program. So we're really proud in North Thurston, our students. Last night we had a board meeting at Pleasant Glade Elementary School. We had our 5th graders who were, they're learning a string instrument for the first time, and they can stay with the music program from elementary all through middle and high school. And they also participate in activities outside of the regular school day. So if a student's in band, they would be in the pep band likely, or the marching band. And we know that when students participate in athletics and activities, they do better in school. So we have a strategic plan goal of all students being connected to a pro-social activity connected to the school, because we know the long-term benefit for the student is very positive for their education and their long-term outcomes. So this chart does a nice job of capturing in total under the category of physical, social, and emotional support staff. The state funds about 63 positions in our district, but we employ 126. So the local levy makes up that difference. And I have a couple details to share here. In terms of nurses, we have registered nurses that we hire that are deployed in our district. We have many students that cannot attend school without a healthcare plan administered by a registered nurse. So we employ 22 and the state funds 13.95. For school psychologists, we employ 23 and the state funds 7.2. So that local levy is really helping to fund the staff in these areas where there are significant shortfalls. In special education annually, the local levy funds 13.7 million to provide special education services to our students. So that is the EP&O levy. It's all about operations. It's the hiring of staff to deliver services for our students. I'm now going to talk about the second ballot measure, unless you have questions about the EP&O levy. I'll go into a few more details in terms of the cost and everything after I talk about the services.
Good.
Go ahead. Okay, so the capital levy, the focus is safety, technology, and facility improvements. And I first want to mention that we have a standing facility advisory committee. In fact, Ruth serves on that committee. We have community members, we have parents, we have staff members. They meet about 4 to 5 times a year, and they are regularly reviewing the capital facility needs within our district. And eventually making recommendations to the board of directors. So as a county, that we submit a 6-year facilities plan to you, and that's updated annually. That facility advisory committee is our standing committee. And we have information on our website that shows all of the meetings that we've held, all of the presentations. But that committee is the committee that recommended that our board of directors move forward with a ballot measure to address these unmet needs in the area of safety, technology, facility improvements, as well as preschool and food and nutrition. So in the area of safety, about 3 years ago, we had an extensive study done of our school district about how to improve and ensure student safety. And it was everything from secure entrances to cameras to drop off and pickup, to fencing, to lighting. And we have been, aggressively and progressively addressing those recommendations. So this is the next number of items that we are ready to address with the right funding. We need to update our district-wide security video system. So that's a centralized system that all of our administrators can access in order to access video footage, as well as 10-year-old security cameras. So the reality is technology changes every year. If you go back 10 years and you look at what at that time, it was the best we had. But today, if you are to look at a video footage and try to zoom in, it just doesn't have the pixelation that you need to be able to, when we're working with the police and we're trying to identify, maybe someone on our campus who shouldn't be there, we're not able to send a clear picture with our current video cameras. So those need to be replaced. So updating that district-wide security system and the cameras. Also updating outdated fire systems at 2 of our schools. That's absolutely essential for schools to function. And improving the student drop-off and pickup at, let's see, we've got 5 elementary schools listed there. One thing we learned through that safety study is one of the areas where most students are injured in a significant way, and sometimes fatally, is during drop-off and pickup, because those little children can sometimes see their parent dart out in front of a car that's maybe going a little too quickly through that parking area. So the goal is you separate the bus traffic from the parent drop off and pickup traffic and clear pedestrian walkways. In the area of technology, we're fortunate in North Thurston that we are a 1-to-1 school district. I think most of the districts in Thurston County are. Every student has a Chromebook. Beginning in middle school, they receive a Chromebook in 6th grade. They have it their entire middle school experience. They take it home at night. They have it all summer long. And then in 8th grade, they turn it in. And then when they start their freshman year, they get a new Chromebook and it follows them through high school. So that 1-to-1 requires the refresh of thousands of Chromebooks every year. And so we're asking the community to support the replacement of that Chromebook refresh. As well as a Chromebook is only good when you have access to high-speed Wi-Fi. And like any kind of technology infrastructure, you occasionally have to go back and replace that. We're also, we know the importance of audio technology in classrooms today, probably more than we used to know. Like, it's so helpful for a teacher and students to have clear audio systems, as well as classroom technology, which includes reader, the screens that need to be replaced, as well as reader boards throughout the school district. And we have all of these on a refresh cycle. We don't replace something until it's reached its end of life. That's just, as a public school system, how we operate. Facility improvements, and a lot of things on this list are just basic needs. So we need to update the sewer systems at several of our schools. Some are in the county, like South Bay, so that's a replacement of a sewer system. Whereas a few schools like Olympic View and Liddy Hawk, we would be hooking into the city's sewer system. And then replace roofs at several high schools. Again, they're reaching their end of life and need to be replaced. In the state of Washington, they don't consider a modernization until a building is more than 30 years old. So some of these roofs, depending on the last time the school was updated, we didn't replace it, but as it reaches its end of life, we need to replace it to really protect the investment that's already in that building. Resurfacing the parking lot at Olympic View, upgrade the building wall and siding design at Chambers Prairie, and then boiler replacements at Mountain View and Lakes. And preschool has been an area of focus for our board of directors. It's one of our strategic plan goals, and the strategic plan that I handed out to you, goal 1, success in the early years. We've been partnering with a lot of different community-based organizations to increase the number of preschool opportunities for students in our school district. Last year, coming into entering kindergarten class, over 50% of the children did not have access to a preschool program prior to coming into kindergarten. So we need to construct more preschool classrooms as well as family-friendly parenting spaces. And then in terms of food and nutrition, I mentioned we serve over 10,000 meals a day. When we do renovations at a school, if the walk-in cooler is not at its end of life, or the dishwasher is not at its end of life, we don't replace it. But we do need to go back and do replacements now at many of these schools. The type of equipment we're replacing, it's all built in, and it's very expensive. You can't afford to do it out of the normal operating budget. And so food nutrition has also, a lot of significant equipment that we need to replace. So I want to share a little bit about what our community has supported in the past and how we've delivered on the promises that we have made. So in 2020, our voters approved a bond, and we're really excited. We're going to do a ribbon cutting on a brand new modernized Camacha Middle School later this month. Hopefully you receive the invitation and you'll be able to attend. It has a beautiful new secure entrance, which was part of the reason why that, one of the safety concerns is around secure entrances. Is a brand new library that's actually in this picture directly to the left of that main entrance. Has a new student commons area, a brand new classroom wing, and the rest of the school has been entirely modernized. New music rooms, art rooms, the gymnasium has been expanded to include new bleachers. It is, for the Lacey City Parks and Rec, Camacha Middle School is one of the most used sites. I think it's because it's so centrally located, and it will have a new covered outdoor play area. And the kids have a little pickleball court out there as well. So we're really excited. This project, I know you've heard a lot about supply chain issues coming out of the pandemic and delays, but this project is on time and within budget, which I'm really proud of our school district. Riverbridge High School is currently under modernization. I have a few flying pages here. Is currently under modernization. This is going to be a 5-year project. So the bond was passed in 2020. Phase 1 is completed. So phase 1 includes a brand new kind of athletic wing. So the auxiliary gym, if you're familiar with the site, has a brand new weight room in front of it now, brand new locker rooms, both for PE and athletics, and a brand new entrance to the pool that is there. You'd open the door and you'd be outside from the pool, the swimming pool, and now there's an entrance that you come into prior to going into the pool. This picture is what the commons area will look like. Riverbridge High School has had separate buildings, and the new design will be one large academic building that includes everything connected. So what we've been working on with the athletic wing is connecting that entire wing together, and it'll be connected to this commons area, brand new theater, new kitchen, upgraded and renovated CTE and music classrooms. So we're really excited about this. If you drive out to the Riverbridge site, the first thing you'll see is brand new tennis courts that have been completed and a brand new parking lot. So and a brand new entrance out of Hoe Street. And the tennis courts also have pickleball. Pickleball's the thing lately, so yeah. Were you gonna say something, Ty?
Oh, my son played on those this fall, and
Okay.
They're still in construction, like
Yeah.
you walk across the dirt and,
Yeah.
but the courts are there and
Yeah.
they're really nice.
Yeah, it's all done now. So the
Yeah.
dirt, it's amazing what happens in a week on a construction site, really. And over the winter break, we had to construct a new servery because the kitchen is being demolished and they're gonna have a brand new kitchen. So cooking off-site, bringing in the food and serving students, which we have a lot of participation at River Ridge High School. So anyway, it's a very exciting project. It's exciting for staff and students to see parts of the project. So phase 1 being completed as we go on to phase 2. And it'll have, like I was talking about, with separating the bus and the student drivers from the parent drop off and pick up, all of that. So it'll be a beautiful new site. We also, the Facility Advisory Committee, when we went to voters in 2020 for the bond, which is a large ask of the community, we had 3 elementary schools that were more than 30 years old that qualified for state match, but we are very conscientious about keeping a stable and predictable tax rate. And so what we decided to do, or what the committee recommended and the board approved, was let's just put new roofs on these schools, new HVAC systems, and look to modernize them later. So that has all been completed. You can see Horizons Elementary School here with a brand new roof on it. So I want to share a little bit about the proposed cost of the levies, and these are estimates based on the most current information. So the EP&O replacement levy is $2.50 per 1,000 of assessed value, and the capital levy is 77 cents per 1,000 of assessed value. Taxpayers are always thinking about, like, well, what's my tax bill? Because when you see a ballot measure come, it has a total dollar amount, but then they want to know the rate per thousand. So this shows the total tax that a voter would expect would be $5.12, because the replacement of the EP&O levy and the capital levy also includes a bond that was previously passed. And that's normal. A bond, you sell and get the dollars for the bond to do a big construction project, and then you pay it back over a number of years. So I wanted to explain a little bit about, for school districts, how tax rates work. So at the time that the levy goes to the voters, it'll be a little over $50 million that's asked for. When the voters approve that dollar amount, that's the maximum the district collects. So in this scenario, let's say you have a really small school district and the voters approve $100 for this school district, and there are 4 homes in this school district. Each homeowner would pay $25 toward the total approved amount of $100. When it's a growing school district and another house is added, it doesn't mean that the district collects more money. The voters approved $100, that's the amount that's collected, and the tax burden is spread over more homeowners. In a real school district, you would see a business, and you would see different taxpayers within this scenario, not just homes. But we're just using this to show that once the voters approve a dollar amount, that's the total amount that's collected. Okay, that is a very brief overview of the EP&O levy and the capital levy. All Thurston County school districts are running EP&O levies, and several, I believe Rainier, Rochester, and North Thurston are running another ballot measure. On our website, we have a page dedicated to information about the levies, so people can go, they can read through the frequently asked questions. We have a couple of videos up there that explain, as well as this fact sheet that I provided to you. So. You bet. Any questions that you have?
You mentioned CTE. Is ag education included in CTA?
Yes.
So FFA classes,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
River
we
Ridge
have
has an FFA program
We
as
have a
well?
really strong horticulture program. We have clubs and FFA that we have families that have farms that within our attendance area. We have an equestrian club, so we do have opportunities like that. The class with the largest attendance is our horticulture program.
Thank you.
Commissioner Mejia, anything?
No questions for me, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I have any. Thanks for going over the what came out of 2020, because I was like, didn't we just campaign for, and time
Yeah.
flies, and I remember supporting you guys and seeing the projects that you had lined up, so it's great to see those come to fruition. And so you're saying that each one of these is 4 years, and then you said there was another one for like $1.85?
Yeah, the bond, so the goal for our school district, and I think it's true for all districts, is to have a stable, predictable tax rate. So when you work with your bond counsel and you're looking at when you're going to go out and sell bonds, you do it at the time that you need those funds for the project, and then you pay it back on a repayment schedule to keep that tax rate constant. So often school districts will have overlapping bonds. They'll be, because they can be paid back over a 20-year period of time. So you'll have, maybe you're paying off a bond that was approved a long time ago, but you're only at this point paying back maybe 20 cents on the,
And what is like the 4 years? Is that because, like, what drives that? Is it like,
state law, the maximum I think you can go out is 4 years. And I think, for our district, many of the services that are funded through the EP&O levy have been funded through the EP&O levy for a long time. So we do, even though the state has provided additional funding in the area of special education, we are also qualifying students for services in special education. The percentage of students coming to us who qualify for special education is going up. And so everything from, newly identified disorders that students need services for.
is there anything, maybe you're gonna go there, but is there anything about your legislative priorities that you wanted us to know?
I
see
can.
special education stuff on here. and-
So all of the school districts adopt legislative priorities. Ours are similar to what they were last year. The state did increase the percentage of funding in special education from 13% up to 15%. Our district is over 17% of our students qualifying for special education services. So it's kind of like an artificial cap. There's not a reason for it to be capped. So all school districts, I believe in Washington, are asking that cap be removed. And preschool programming is underfunded when you consider the operational costs of preschool and what it costs to hire staff to deliver preschool services. So our board of directors has had a long-standing request around preschool. Also, that request includes facilities. Last year, we have a joint project with the Y, with the city, with the library, with the EDC and the chamber around a young child and family center. And last year, we're the fiscal agent for it, but we did receive some state funding to do the conceptual design of that project. But the state hasn't funded preschool classrooms the way that is needed in order to keep the cost to families for sending their children to preschool down. So that's been a standing legislative priority. That one of the first on that list has to do with really what the state funds, what they consider as the prototypical school model, and what we actually have in terms of staffing. So a prototypical school model, they would say, let's say you have 400 children in a school. We're going to fund this amount of a principal, this amount of a secretary, this amount of an educational assistant, this number of teachers. That's the prototypical model. We're asking for increases in what the state funds because our staffing ratios are a lot higher than what we're currently funded for. One example I can give, and I was at a Senate hearing this morning for the K-12 and Early Learning Committee because they were hearing on Senate Bill 5882, and that has to do with the prototypical funding model. And one of the recommendations is to increase the funding for educational assistants, or what we call paraeducators. Right now, the state funds one paraeducator for an elementary school. We have 20 paraeducators. in an elementary school. So you're talking about the individuals who supervise children coming off the bus in the morning, make sure they safely get into the school, supervise in lunchrooms, supervise recess, provide direct instruction to children for intervention services, provide direct support for children who qualify for special education services. So we have about 20, about 6 to 7 of those paraeducators are dedicated to special education programs, but another 13 are just operating the school, you know, making sure children are safe and providing the support that's needed. So obviously, one is not enough. So, you know, we're there testifying in support of an increase that over a 3-year period of time, I think will become 2 within an elementary school. But it's movement, and that's what we need.
In Olympia, they've got the, you know, discussions about school closures, and I assume that's because of enrollment projections. You don't have, your district doesn't have those issues, or?
No, even though we're neighboring districts, in North Thurston Public Schools, we have a lot of, and you know this, large housing developments that are going in, and we continue to have growth of single-family homes. We have a lot of families that are living in apartments now. I think due to not only the lack of affordable housing, but also I want to say affordable as well as just housing in general. But our enrollment has been steady. Our kindergarten classes are smaller.
Has
So-
their enrollment gone down?
In the Olympia School District, their projections are that their enrollment's going down. They do
What's
not
the
have,
reason for that?
well, they don't have the kind of development that we have in our district of affordable single family homes. And
Wouldn't that not cause, that wouldn't cause enrollment to drop though, would it? That would just make it stable.
well, if you, so the birth rate is going down, and so young adults are not having children as early as they used to. And so there's fewer children coming into the school system. And I think in Olympia, they have more people aging in place in their homes and not necessarily selling their home.
To
At
young
the-
families. I mean, my neighborhood, I mean, when I first moved here, it was like, I lived right near Capitol High School. And it was like, there wasn't a kid to be seen in that neighborhood. Everyone had been there, it was older folks. It was an older neighborhood. I mean, people come to Olympia and they just don't go, like
Yeah.
and then families go to my neighborhood. It's all kids when I moved there. And they're all about to go to college, or they did go to college. And in about 5 years, my neighborhood will have no kids.
Yeah, so that's, I think that, I mean, Patrick Murphy would better be able to speak to Olympia School District's enrollment trends, but I can tell you for North Thurston Public Schools, our incoming kindergarten classes have gotten smaller, and then we adjust our staffing for that. We also have expanded programs, like preschool programs and our Future Ready Kindergarten, which is our transitional kindergarten program, we started, within the last 5 years. And so that is generating some enrollment for a portion of the student's year. That's where, and it's to meet an immediate and I think very pressing need in our community. So children don't have access to preschool in our community. I mentioned over 50% come to kindergarten without it. We can be a provider in that space through a state-funded transitional kindergarten program. And we work really closely with Child Care Action Council and partner organizations to identify children who currently aren't being served. So they're either, maybe they qualify for a state-funded ECAP program, but there aren't enough slots, okay? So that the child is, and working with the family, is enrolled in a transitional kindergarten by December of, say, of the 23-24 school year. That child will continue in the program through June and then start kindergarten the next year. So it's not kindergarten and it's not preschool, it's called transitional kindergarten. So they get a pre-K experience in our schools for about 6 months before. And what we have found, there's an assessment called we call it WA Kids. It's basically when children are coming into kindergarten, the teacher meets with the child and the family and conducts an assessment with the student around 6 different domains. over 60% of the children who've only had 6 months in our program are coming into kindergarten meeting 6 out of 6 domains, which means physical, social, ELA, math skills, like they're meeting all of those domains.
Preschool is important.
It is. And that's, I mean, that's, you may have heard, our district recently partnered with the Bezos Academy, and we'll be opening up 60 additional slots of preschool, and that's going to be located at Seven Oaks Elementary School. So where we haven't had, as much enrollment, we've been partnering with community-based organizations to always be in service to children in our community.
I appreciate how hard you work for your school district, and in the 10 years that I've been in politics or whatever, I've learned more about North Thurston Public Schools than any other public schools in Thurston County. I think you do a really good job for North Thurston. You serve them well, so thank you.
Thank you. We have a whole team. We have a great communications team that tries to make sure we get our message out. And I appreciate that because we focus mostly on sharing information with our families and our staff. And so the fact that we can even have a broader reach is important.
How's that family resource center?
It's
that we-
fabulous. So one thing, just kind of I believe North Thurston Public Schools is considered a lighthouse district for the state of Washington for serving children who are experiencing homelessness. And we, the Family and Youth Resource Center, actually right now is entirely under construction. And that was from actually the previous bond that was passed. So it's the Raj Manhas Activity Center, which is the old Valleys. Is right now, it doesn't look like a lot's going on because it's all underground. So it's redoing the parking area and creating the water tanks or whatever for the runoff. And then that front part of that building will get demolished and a brand new constructed site that will continue to be the Family and Youth Resource Center. Ignite Family Academy, that parent partnership program that we opened, we have a huge waiting list for families that want to get in, but the facility we're in right now, we can't accommodate more. Once that construction's done, which will be in 2025, we'll be able to meet the needs of more families. We're also moving our student records program, which is currently at the service center, which is the transportation department location over there. So right now, temporarily, we have our McKinney-Vento, our homeless navigators are housed over at student support. And we have families coming in there to get items that are really donated by our community and services that are provided by CMAR, other organizations, community youth services that we have signed agreements with, and then they come on site and schedule time to serve the children and families. So we're certainly not trying to do it ourselves all on our own. We're not funded to provide all of those resources to families, but it's the generosity of the community. I was at Panorama this week, and they've been very generous in providing donations specifically for the children who are experiencing
That's
homelessness.
excellent.
Yeah, and when we look at our graduation rate for that particular population of students, we're 20 percentage points above the state average for that group of students. But it's thanks to a really focused support, as well as all of the supports that are available as what I call tier one, making sure every kid has those things, and then making sure the kids who need the most support are getting that targeted support. Yeah.
At the very beginning, you said that you guys had the highest graduation rates compared to
For
what?
North Thurston Public Schools. Yeah.
For compared to your previous history.
To us,
Historically going
compared to
higher.
us, going higher and maintaining really high graduation rates. So when you add like a Summit Virtual Academy, you're capturing students who may not have graduated on time, or maybe were in risk of graduating on time, and you're helping them graduate on time through taking additional classes and doing it online. Still meeting all the state standards, still having to pass all the tests. The graduation requirements are higher than they've ever been. And so maintaining and getting to high graduation rates, and all of the districts, it's not just North Thurston, all of the districts in Thurston County are doing a great job of graduating students. We, using the ESSER funds, this summer will be our last summer of a K-12 robust summer program where we identify students for additional services and we serve them through the summer. And it's been free for families. We provide the transportation, we provide meals, and we provide instruction for a half day for students. We partner with like the YMCA and they do the other half of the day, or City of Lacey, their Parks and Rec, they do Playground Pals and have programming in the afternoon. But our students who are credit deficient, part of the reason we're able to maintain high graduation rates is if your freshman year, if you fail a class during the regular school day, you have to make it up outside of the regular school day or you won't graduate on time. And so these summer programs that are free of charge that provide transportation and get kids to school to help them get caught up are why we can achieve those graduation rates.
Okay, anything else, guys?
I'd just like to say one thing. So North Thurston took the lead when I chaired the citizens group 15 years ago when I started. We took the lead on joint marketing and advertising for all the districts in our county. So we joint market. So we group buy buttons, window clings, yard signs. So the smaller districts can benefit from the larger order. And so we've been real proud of doing that. And so we try to help each other. Yeah.
That's great.
And I thank you for your comments too about Deb. And yeah, we've always been kind of out telling our story every year. And I know my citizens group meets 3-4 times a year, at least even on our off years. So we do our fundraising so we can afford to run a campaign.
Wow.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Commissioner,
I apologize. Who was speaking?
that was Ruth Weigand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's
Sorry,
here.
the camera didn't capture her. I just heard a voice from, I
What
was
is
trying to
your-
figure it out.
What is your,
I chair the
Roll.
North Thurston Citizens for School.
Awesome. Thank you, Ruth.
Yeah, it's a citizens committee separate from the school district.
okay.
Right.
All
I know
right.
you were a member of HAP. I wanted to make sure we got the right hat.
Glad you did, not today. Too bad.
Okay, well then, thank
Right.
you so much.
Yeah, thank you for your time. I appreciate that.
All right.
And reach out if you have any questions and go to our website. We've got lots of good information there.
Will
Okay,
do.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we're adjourned. Meeting in a minute and a half
30
for
seconds.
something else.
Something else,
Public
whatever it
health.
is.